so keep that up throughout all the meetings, or maybe at least the whole semester. Alright, and then so I can see some improvement. Some of you have taken my suggestion into account. Like for example, I think I mentioned before about the pronunciation of can't and can't. Alright, yeah. So it's like I think today I hear a lot of correct, pronunciation. Alright, so keep that up. And then, but then I think there are still a few pronunciation that you need to improve on. And then I think one is TH sound. Yeah, so it's like for example, think. Sometimes I think you pronounce correctly, but sometimes it's a little bit unclear. So it sounded like sing. Alright, yeah. So it's like maybe next time you have to bite your tongue a little bit harder, alright, so that you can give a clearer pronunciation, alright. Because this one thing, the TH sound, you need to put your tongue in between the teeth. Yeah. So I think this one, or maybe like for example, I heard something and then I heard something. Yeah. So it's like pronunciation like this. So maybe you need to be aware of this. And then and the other one. Yeah, some of the speakers, alright, maybe you just joined this group, alright, this meeting, alright, with us, and then you are not very experienced in speaking or maybe giving a public speech, and then so sometimes I find your sentences, alright, is a little bit choppy. Alright, choppy means you stop at the wrong place, or maybe you stop after every single word. Yeah, so it's like a good speaker, you try to group your idea together. So it's like, we are not saying that being fluent speaker means that you don't breathe. You still need to breathe. You still need to stop and breathe. All right. But then it's like try to connect your words together. All right. Yeah, especially words that belong to one group of idea. All right. Yeah. So maybe you can practice more about that, and then. Okay, and the other one, I think that is mine. Alright, I will skip. Alright, and then I think last time I mentioned something about chunking, right? And then some of you, I can see. Alright, that chunking is about. Pausing means stop. Alright, stop at the right places. Alright, and I think I mentioned a little bit about that last meeting. And then some of you, I think you're more interested in this part, so maybe I can share a little bit more about chunking. Alright, chunking is actually a kind of speaking skill. Alright, maybe when you go back home, I strongly suggest you to go to YouTube and watch this speaker, Mark Gungo. I'm not sure if you have heard of him before. He's a very famous marriage counselor. Alright, he solves problems for married couples. Or maybe you are not married, but then it's like if you have problem with your boyfriends or girlfriends, alright, you can send him an email or something. I think he has an email open to everybody. Alright, and he also set up his Facebook fan page, alright, or maybe you can leave a message over there, alright, and then so he gives a lot of speeches, famous speeches all over the world, not just in America. He's actually an American, but then he's invited by different churches, alright, in different countries, and he gives speeches, and then it's like I found him a very good speaker, alright, I think the most famous one of the most famous one, the topic is called The Tale of Two Brains. Basically, alright, in this speech, alright, he's telling a story about the difference between man and woman. So, if you are interested in that, maybe you can take a look at that video. It's really funny, alright. There is a full version on YouTube. Alright, it lasts more than an hour. So it's like, especially for those who are studying in psychology, and if you think you want to be a counselor, alright, I know that in Hualien it has got the highest divorce rate in Taiwan, right? So it's like if you want to stay here and lower the divorce rate, maybe you can go and watch that film, all right, on YouTube. But then it's like there are also partial versions. That means it's like they chop up the video into different parts. So maybe you can, if you just want to admire, all right, take a look at his speech, all right, how he carried his speech. Yeah, you can look at the partial version as well. I think they break it up into 10 or 20 minutes for each part. All right, yeah, so yeah, I think this is one of my favorite speakers, all right? And then one thing which makes his speech so interesting, I mean every time, all right, whenever he's giving his speech, I think the speeches last for maybe for an hour or something. But then it's like the audience, if you take a look at the video, you can see the reaction of the audience. They are really positive, and they can, how to say, respond, all right, to the speaker, all right. Yeah, so I think one technique that he commonly used in his speech is chunking. All right, chunking means to stop at the right time. Now, most of us, especially to the beginner speakers, all right, they want to improve on the fluency in their speech, all right. And once they think of fluency, means what? You can speak non-stop. Blah 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 blah. It's like, so it's like you want to do that, all right, for the 15 minutes, all right. And then but then it's like they have this impression being fluent means that you can speak non-stop. But in terms of good speaking, especially giving public speech, all right, you have to learn to stop. All right. Now it's like in English, whether it's a presentation or maybe a public speech, usually the speaker, they will think from the audience point of view. Now, when you're coming up here speaking like me, all right, what I'm doing now, you are my audience, all right, and what can you do now? As an audience, what can you do? Listen and think, right? Listen and think, all right. So if I want you to listen, I will speak. But what if I want you to think? I need to shut up. Alright? Yeah, so that's why a good speaker, you have to take care of the needs of the audience. Especially if you want to emphasize some important points. You want your audience to stop and think about the thoughtful words that you have said. Then you need to give them a few seconds, give them a moment to think about what you actually said, all right, in your speech. So that's why chunking means that stop at the right place, and it can create this dramatical effect. All right, dramatical effect, that means it's like nowadays I realize that most of the public speeches or maybe the presentation, they are more like acting performance. It's like putting an act, it's like a show, all right, on the stage. Yeah. And then this Mark Gungor, all right, he has his philosophy. He said that he wants to put as many acting skill in his speeches, all right, as possible. All right, so that it's like at the same time his speeches will be entertaining, all right, funny, humorous, but then at the same time, of course, they are informative, easy to remember. Like one thing, all right, most of the presenter, they want their audience, all right, to remember, okay, what they have said, even they walk out of the room or something. All right, so that's why, all right, one of the powerful skill is to chunk. All right, that means you stop at the right place. So, yeah. I'm not sure if you have this experience. Have you ever negotiated before?
Yes.
Negotiate. So what's your context?
Context?
Yeah. So it's like in what situation that you have to negotiate? With your teachers about the grades that you got?
Yes. Today was homework. Spring break homework.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then, so it's like, I'm not sure if you have ever noticed in any business context, business situation, or maybe political situation, when two leaders, all right, when they negotiate, usually the one who speak less, they will win in the negotiation. So it's like, next time, if you want to negotiate, like for example, if you want to negotiate the marks with your teacher, make sure you speak less than what he does. Alright? You try. Alright, now why? Why is that so? Why the one who speaks less can be the winner in the end of this negotiating game? It's because once they have stated their position, they will just shut up. I have made my point clear, and I don't need to give you any more extra unnecessary information. Alright, so that's why you can make use of the same technique in your presentation or in your speeches. Alright, that sometimes in English what we call less is more. Alright, yeah, so here, alright, I've got this information from the internet, and he quoted a famous saying from Plato. He says that wise men talk because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. Alright, yeah, so next time, alright, if you want to make your presentation more impressive to your audience, or maybe if you want to make especially the important points, if you want your audience to listen even better, to remember what you said, maybe you can try this technique. Alright, I think it can be applied to both beginner and advanced level speakers. Alright, yeah, and you can create actually different effects. Alright, so one last point that I want to make is that if you want to be a fluent speaker, at the same time you want to be a persuasive speaker, alright, you have to learn not just to connect the words together, but also learn to stop at the right time and give a moment for your audience to think about your idea. Alright, that will be even better. So that's all my sharing for today. And then actually from today's observation, I want to talk about a little bit more about organization of idea, but I'm not going to talk about this today because it's a little bit complicated and I need to do some research before I come here. So it's like, can I do it the next time?
Next time
Or is it the job of the general evaluator? It's about organizing your idea. It's the general evaluator's job. Alright, so it's like I will leave that to the general evaluator. Alright, yeah. Alright, and then
or you can email me the notes.
Alright.
I can send everything.
Maybe next time you can give a little speech about how to organize the speech.
Alright, maybe I just highlight some main idea about organizing idea. Alright, yeah. And then because I think language and the context means the situation that you are actually speaking in. Using your language, they cannot be separated. Sometimes I find it a little bit difficult. Yeah, I still have this confusion about the role of the general evaluator and language evaluator, but never mind. Alright, I will prepare some notes for you. Yeah, so it's like once I'm ready, I will email that to you. Alright, yeah, so next time, okay, maybe next time I will talk about this. Stop at the wrong places, and you can change meaning. And sometimes you are actually saying that you don't want to say because you simply stop at the wrong places. Alright, maybe I will talk about that. Alright, yeah, so that's all for my evaluation. Thank you very much.